Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here. I'm going to be working in my Shrooms Journal. It's almost done. It's so close to being done, and that's making me really happy because I'm ready to jump into Christmas. And to be honest, I have actually started to dabble in Christmas, but I need to get this one finished up to leave me free, full on into Christmas. So last time I made a masterboard, if you remember, if you watched that video, I have cut it into a couple of pieces, which I haven't yet kind of finished up. I've just tucked them where I want them. So there's one in that pocket. Other bits I will do when we do a flip through, and then in the paper bag I've got the other half of that masterboard. Now, after I recorded that video, I did go on and make a second masterboard, which was book page. Just seeing if I can find a piece of it here. And I've used the whole thing. Here we go. The whole thing, the whole masterboard that I made off camera, I've used for various bits of ephemera. And this was an offcut I had left over, which I used as a belly band. So I've done quite a bit off camera. If we get time after I've done this particular project, we'll go and look at decorating those two bits of masterboard. But I want to show you this. This is an idea I was playing around with. I don't think it's new at all. I've probably seen it somewhere along the way and then kind of just filed it in the recesses of my brain, and it's come out to play. So a 12 by 12 sheet, we're going to use the whole thing, and we're going to turn it into a trifold ephemera holder, and it's going in the journal. So this will be, for my journal, will be a tag holder, but it could be any ephemera that you like. So I'm going to first off just make a mark on, I need a pencil. Hello pencil, there we go. Going to make a mark at, so it's 12 inches across, right? So for this, much easier just to go in their inches. So I'm going to make a mark to do it into thirds, so 4 and 8. Really simple, and that's as much measuring as we're going to do. That's it, no more measuring. So I'm going to take this and fold it at one of my marks. Now, when you're folding a large section of paper, it doesn't warp like if you're trying to do a gusset, you know, a really narrow bit, it warps terribly and you can't fold it straight. With big sections of paper, I've found mostly it complies to where you want it. So I'm just doing that initial bit and then making it go there, and it's going to be pretty much down straight. I've got a little bit of glue residue I see from where it was taken out of a pad. Now I don't know where this is from. It doesn't look like it's going to come off either. It's part of a random whole heap of papers that I got off someone selling on Facebook years ago. And where's my other mark? I've lost my other mark. I made 2 marks, didn't I? Hello, where have you gone? That is just crazy. I can't. Am I losing my mind, people? Like, where's my other mark gone? I'm going to have to do it again because I cannot even see the mark that I folded on. I can't even see that. Oh, you know why? Because I did it on this side. Yes, I'm losing my mind. Okay, well, now that makes sense because I can see the other mark now. You're probably yelling at me. I'm such a dingbat. Such a dingbat. We're off to a great start, aren't we? Fun and games, fun and games. So anyway, I can't tell you where this paper came from, what pad or what maker, but it's probably not available anyway because it is old. You can use a scoreboard for this if you prefer. I just, you know, I've got a scoreboard. I just didn't think it was overly necessary. Okay, so you've got it in thirds. Now I'm going to take it and fold it. So you want space here for your ephemera or your tag or journal card, whatever you want to put in it, to poke out the top. You know, you don't want it to be, you know, too shallow. So we're going about here-ish. So again, just creasing it. No set measurement, just eyeball it, and what looks good to you is fine. Sorry, just had to take care of my nose then. Okay, don't worry about the marks, the pencil marks. We're actually going to end up getting rid of those. So we're going to do that now. So for this, I like to take my ruler and a craft knife. You could do it with scissors, but I just prefer my craft knife. And I'm going like literally a millimetre or two either side of the creases. So just in this short bit here that is our pockets, I'm just going either side of each of the two creases. So something of a tutorial here, I guess. So I'm going to cut up, oops, straight hopefully. Let's try straight that side. And then on the other side, I'd like to turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. So only a very small section that we're removing, and then we can come back and take a little bit more if we need to. Whoops, I cut too far then, because I'm trying to do this on camera rather than do what's comfortable for me. So try not to cut up too far. It's not the end of the world, but neither is it exactly what I wanted. Right, so doing the same thing on this side. Trying to do it a bit candid here. Right, and stop. Whoops, go straight. Stop at this crease here. You don't want to go past that like I did by accident there. And again, just a short, oh, my fingernails are purple. It's the most stunning day outside. It is really, really beautiful. It's warm, it's sunny, it's absolutely gorgeous spring day. But inside it's been freezing and I've had the fire going. But because it's such a beautiful day, I don't want to like just keep the fire going all day. So I've let it die down, and I was only burning like junky stuff, not proper logs, so it wasn't too hot. But I'm now really feeling like my fingernails are telling me it's cold. My nose is dripping a little bit. That's telling me it's cold. So after this video, I might just go sit in the sun for a few minutes, 10 minutes, read a book or something, get a bit of vitamin D, get some warmth into my bones. But anyway, on with this. So we now have 3 what are going to be pockets like that, and for this slit we want to check that it will fold up without getting kind of caught up, and that seems to be working well. The first one I did make a prototype. I had to trim a little bit extra because it was catching, but I think this one's fine. Now you could just have the 3 pockets across like that, but I like to add just a little design tip, and that's lowering the middle pocket. So I'm just gonna line it up on my mat straight, using my grid on the mat to do that. And then I'm just going to choose an arbitrary amount. Again, no set measurement. I'm just choosing about the depth that I think will look good, and cut it off. Nice wee scrap. Okay. And then we have this. I think it just adds a little something. Okay. Now obviously I have single-sided paper here. If you have double-sided paper and you've got a nice pattern in the background, you can go ahead and do the next step. I'm going to stencil this just to give it a bit more energy, a bit more interest. I'm just going to use Vintage Photo, and I didn't grab out a stencil ahead of time, so let me just grab out a stencil. This one looks like it will do the trick. Just a nice floral kind of nature stencil, and a bit of background paper. So you only need to do, you know, just a little bit below the level of your pockets. You don't need to stencil the whole thing if you are stenciling. You don't have to, absolutely, you could leave it white. I just want to give it a little zhoosh. So Vintage Photo, and I'm just going to come in here and stencil it. So just making sure I take it below the level of the pocket. I don't want a little strip of white where I didn't take it low enough. Yeah, because I think that would just not quite be the look I'm desiring. So take it down lower in the middle section where the pocket is lower. Probably more than ample coverage there. Slide it across a little bit. Right, I'm going to stop there and move the stencil because it didn't reach all the way across. And just move it. So I don't, because you know on the edge of your stencil you have your design where it's cut off and there's a hard line. I wanted to avoid that hard line, so before I got to the end of the stencil I just stopped and moved it across, and that's going to avoid having a weird sort of hard line where the stencil ended. Okay, so that covers all those gaps. Now we have this gap in between where it's white. So all I do for that is I just come in with my, whoops, need a bit more ink there, and just give that a bit of Vintage Photo as well in that gap, like so, and then it's just gonna not have that bright white in that area. Okay, I do also like to round the corners, so I'm gonna do that. You don't have to round the corners, you could leave them square and it will look perfectly fine. Just again, it's not cutting very well. More of a design element. You can customize it as you see fit. I think perhaps it's not liking this paper so much, but we're going to persist. Oops, it's stuck in there. Don't want to come out. Come on, here we go. It's been problematic today. It almost feels like it's like sticky, but I haven't cut anything with glue, so I don't quite know what's up with it. Maybe it's just having a mood, you know, like as women we just have a mood day. Right, just getting rid of all those little corners. Okay, now I also like to do the outside corners, including the bottom corners. Actually, I'm going to wait until they are glued to do the bottom corners, just because if I do them now and it's not lined properly, then it's going to be a bit funky when I glue it together and there'll be something showing somewhere, potentially. I also like to put little thumb notches just to indicate that the pockets, again, entirely optional. So just eyeballing the center as much as I can. And this also is not punching that great. It must be the paper, the scrapbook paper, because it's crunching it on that corner. Oops, out you come, paper. That one was better. Just do a little snippy snip here where it didn't quite go according to plan. So how are you, my friends? Are you having a good week? My week is certainly interesting. Did you catch my collab video for Rach and Bella Crafts on Tuesday? It was for the Christmas Craft Off 24. Do pop along and watch it if you haven't. It's a shorter video because for the collaboration we're trying to keep them shorter. So a bit shorter than my typical Tuesday video, which is fine. It was actually quite nice for a change. I did go slightly over the half an hour that I was supposed to keep it to, but you know, amongst friends, it's okay. Right, now, please bear with me. I do want to ink around this before I glue them down, because once they're glued down, it's so much harder. So I'll do the bits that need to be inked now. I'll do those, and then I'll do the rest once it's glued together. Excuse me, bit of a tickle in my throat. I think I might have a wee sip of my cup of tea. I think it's just the talking. Talking is giving me a tickle in my throat. So, little update on my computer situation. The friendly tech person who is a friend. Oh, excuse me. The tea just gurgled all the way down. Looked at the computer this morning, and it is a systemic failure, but a fixable one. So in my computer there are two hard drives. Oh, excuse me. There's one that runs the programs, and there's one that's just for storage. And then I also have an external hard drive. So when I was having the issues, I unplugged the external hard drive to see whether that was causing issues, because it's the oldest part of the whole thing is the external hard drive, and it didn't make any difference. So then hubby disconnected one of the internal hard drives to see if that one was causing an issue, and as it happens, it was that one that was causing the issue, but he couldn't tell because it's the one that was running all the programs. So when he removed it, like, still nothing changed, because the program running hard drive was the one that had failed, and it was the one he removed. So it made no difference when he removed it. It still wouldn't do anything because there were no programs on it. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So long story short, I've got to get a new hard drive to replace that one. And when it was put in so it just kind of dangles, I guess. It's not quite just like hanging loose, but it's almost hanging loose. So as well as the new hard drive, also got to buy a special holder to fix it in place. So, you know, not the end of the world. It is fixable. Cost fairly minimal. Like, I'm not, certainly nowhere near the cost of a new computer. All for under $100 we can get these things. So the guy's wife is picking up the new hard drive today, and then I don't know when he'll get time to put it all back in and reinstall all the programs, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll get it back this week, maybe I won't. We'll just have to wait and see. There's no point stressing about it. I'm stressed enough. I need to just go, well, this is how it is, you know. It's not ideal. But much of life is not ideal. So, anyway, I guess I should talk about the kit I'm using for this journal. That we will be decorating with, because I haven't really mentioned it. You know, I kind of start assuming that you all follow along with me in every video and you know exactly what I'm doing and what I'm working with. That might not be the case. So if you are new here, welcome. It's good to have you along. And for my regulars, love that you come back and see me on a regular basis. You guys are champions. So for this journal, my Shrooms journal, I am using the Mushrooms from Days Gone By kit from the Junk Journal Studio. I'm on Michelle's design team. That's Michelle, who is the Junk Journal Studio. And I'm using this beautiful mushroom kit. It is absolutely just chock-a-block of all things fun and fungi. Just a bit of a pun play there. It really is stunning. I've wanted to make a mushroom journal for quite a long time. It's always sort of been in the back of my mind, and then Michelle comes out with this beautiful kit and I'm like, yep, I'm all over this. I'm in like Flynn. Okay, so I've just glued up those pockets, and already, doesn't it look cool? And it folds up nicely. Oh, we do have a little, I didn't check that. It does collide a little bit. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off this edge so that it tucks nicely inside. So just a little bit, doesn't need a huge amount. I'll start with this small, whoops. I just left a scratch on my metal ruler with the craft knife. Check that it's, yes, that's much better. So now I need to redo this corner because it's now a bit funky, a bit misshapen. And I've got to kind of eyeball it. Because the way this punch works, it's a little bit different. I haven't got a point anymore. So I'm kind of, I'm going to say there. Had to kind of make an imaginary point to fit into the little slot. Just tidy up there. Okay, so at this point I would ink around the entire exterior, but we'll see. I might save it to do off camera. And let's do some decorating, the fun piece. Oh, we also need to do the rest of the corner punching. So they fold in. I like to punch those top corners. Also need to do this before inking, otherwise you've got to go back and re-ink them. And then this top corner as well. And then the bottom corners. So you're going through a few layers at this point. And this bottom one. So basically rounding all the corners. Again, you do not have to if you don't want to. I just really, really like the look. There we go. I think I've got them all. Just get rid of our little bits there. So all of our crease folds and our outside corners are all rounded. And see how nice that looks when it's all folded up. Everything's nicely rounded. And I know I said I'd ink off camera, but I just want to kind of do this front piece so you can see. Oops, get a bit more ink on my brush, I think. Maybe I need to re-ink my ink pad. It's not showing up hugely on this paper, I must say. It is a little bit, but it will definitely show up inside when we get to that white edge. But we're going to continue because I think it would be obvious if we only did 3 sides and not 4. Okay, so that's the front of our piece. So it opens this way and then flips out this way, and then we've got a pocket for 3 tags or journal cards or whatever you like. Unfortunately, these aren't quite wide enough for the kit tags. I'll just grab one out. There are tags that come with the digital kit. So this is one of them, and they're not quite wide enough. because of the glue. If we didn't have to glue it, they would be wide enough. We could trim these down, or we could just make new ones. So options. Right, so the front. Let's have a look. I think I'm going to go for the fussy cuts first. There's some really nice large ones in the kit, like these. Good size. I think they might be the only two large ones I have left, actually. Slightly too wide. That one. Oh, the colours in this actually go really nicely, don't they? So maybe that one. Need a bit of texture, a bit of layering. Bit of book page. Just tearing off the white to start with. So you can decorate it however you like. This is just how I'm going to. I do like a bit of book page. Just want to tear a bit off that. I feel like I need something this way underneath. Let's see if we can find an appropriate label or something. We could use a strip of paper, of course. We might need to. These might not be long enough. Although that's not bad. Yeah, I don't mind that. Okay, let's start gluing and then we'll work out the rest. Whoops, bit of cat fur in my ephemera bin there. That's so not surprising. If any of you are new here, I have 3 cats, or we have 3 cats I should say, my husband and I. So there's always fur cat in, over and through absolutely everything. And something I didn't tell any of you guys, because the computer kind of took over my world for the weekend, is Kelly, you know, my beautiful Kelly, didn't come home for a few days. Like, I think the last time we saw her was Thursday evening. Oh, that's actually a cut edge, but oh well. We might put something over it, or we might not. And so by Saturday night, I was getting quite worried. It was like she hadn't been home, she hadn't come home for food, hadn't seen her since Thursday evening. So by Saturday evening, I was quite worried. Throughout Saturday, we would, both of us, at different times, would go out through the day and call her and go down the street and see if we could find her, and she just did not appear. And so when things like that happen, you think, is she hurt? Is she locked up in someone's shed? Like, is she sick? Where is she? It's just really, really freaky. And if you're an animal person who's experienced a missing animal, you'll know exactly the sort of thoughts that were going through my head. Now, last year, if she didn't turn up for a week, we would be okay because we knew where she was. She was happy, she was healthy, and she would come home occasionally. But this year, since April probably, she's been coming home more and more and spending more time at home. And so it got to the point where was up until Thursday evening, she was basically spending all day at home and most of the night. So she was pretty much home full time. And so when she didn't turn up for a couple of days, we started worrying. And Saturday night, I fell asleep praying that she would come home and that she would be okay and that she would, you know, be safe and happy and healthy. So I fell asleep praying for that. And Sunday morning we had breakfast and we were getting on with things, and who should wander in the cat door and head to the food dishes? Kelly. Such relief. My goodness, you can't imagine. And she seemed fine. Like, we can't find any injuries. She hasn't lost any weight, so she's, you know, well, not noticeably, so she's not sick. She had a really good appetite. She looked in good condition. Her fur was healthy. Just can't find any suitable reason for why she didn't come home. But I am grateful, very, very grateful that she's back home, and she spent most of last night inside. She spent most of yesterday inside, you know, disappearing just in the evening and in the morning for toilet stops and stuff like that, and then coming back. So this morning she went out after breakfast because she was in all night, and she hasn't come back, but that's fine. I don't expect her to really come back. She might do, but not expecting to see it until kind of like 5 o'clock tonight or 4:30 or something, when she'll be like, it's getting close to tea time, I better go home. But man, these animals, they can worry you, can't they? They can stress you out. So it was that and the computer, and I was not that happy. I'm just thinking about covering this bit because I didn't notice it. I was talking too much. That would be quite nice, actually, wouldn't it? Just there. Just wondering about, do I want something round as well? I think mushrooms and mushrooms might be a little much. Like, we've got lots of little round circles numbers. It could be very cute. Almost want a third element at the top there. Like, there's 2 pieces here, but if you count the book page, it's 3. Again, this could be the third, so there is an odd number. Do I need a third? I think I want to try a third, or a 6th, if you're counting. Just to see. Maybe, it's a maybe. Sorry, I feel like I've talked at you so much, but yeah, no, I think maybe just the one is sufficient after all that. Just going to take my brush to this because there's a little white edge that I can see, and there's places where there's no black edge because I've trimmed it off. I haven't cut it out properly. That's all good. Ink covers a multitude of errors or imperfections of my own making, and for the same reason I'm going around this as well. Places where the black border is missing and places where I've left a bit of white. Seem to be slow doing it because it's such a small piece to hold on to, and I don't really want to ink my fingers too much. Right, I think I wanted that underneath, didn't I? Under the words. So I'm going to put that about there. Oops. So I'm kind of trying to decide whether I make tags for this on this video, or whether I decorate those 2 bits of Masterboard. Not sure which way, but we haven't finished decorating this yet, so excuse me. Do I want something in that? I'm not sure what. Maybe that's actually where I need another element. Like we could put more words. I think filed. Actually, that's kind of cute. I do have some office stamps. Sorry, just delving into, like, would red, would that be too, like, in your face? Could be fun. I've also got posted. I've got a heap, but they're across the room, where I've got some in my drawer. Blue. I don't think blue's the right choice. So I think file is kind of drawing me. Let's test it out on here. One, to see whether it works nicely. It does. Is that going to, like... No, I'm going to go for it. I don't know if it's a good decision, but we're going in. Yes, I love it. Fun. If you see office stamps like this, old office stamps, they are great. They're really fantastic. You can re-ink them if they've run out of ink. I just think they are really fun to work with. Yes, I love that. I'm glad I just went with it. Okay, so here, I haven't thought about here. You could actually add another pocket. Or like... I mean, this is writable. It could be good writing space, and maybe I'll leave it as writing space. Same with the back. Could be written on. We could add a little something. I'm thinking about stamping a mushroom on there. There it is. Okay, to open the packet. Stamp and... what colour? Black? I think black. Oh, or do I want to use the Stays On? Okay, let's use Stays On just in case this has got a bit of surface and the ink doesn't set properly. Let's use the Stays On. And which one do we want? Quite like this little one here. Don't want to take up too much of the writing space, just a little decoration. I love the colours of this paper and the design. I think it works perfectly with mushrooms, the theme of mushrooms, and with the colours of this journal. I think I couldn't have found a better one in my stash to go with this. Isn't that cute? Do we want to put a little something up the top? Maybe that. This little one of button mushrooms. Cute. These stamps are so cool. The detail in them is really quite superb for cheap stamps. Okay, I think that's sufficient though, and it'll be inked around. Okay, wee sip of my tea again. Trying to keep that scratchy throat at bay. Okay, so I want to decorate each of these pockets as well, because why not? Wondering in the fussy cuts whether any of these pieces might... So those are all vertical pieces. Some horizontal. Just picking out the horizontal bits that we might... want to play with. Or we could do something small like that, that's vertical. That's another smaller. There's different sizes, so some of them are the same but different sizes, so I'm not sure exactly what I want yet. And then we've got these really cool words, but I think, yeah, they're going to be all too large. There's smaller sizes of those as well. But let's see out of this lot whether what we like the look of for our wee pockets. That's really lovely. I like that. Very decorative. And then maybe something up the top of the pockets. You know, instead of having everything in a row, like really showcasing that they're different heights. That's the same thing in two different sizes, but I don't think I want one of those. Not finding anything about that size. Not sold on that arrangement yet. We could go this way, and I quite like that because we've got text and mushrooms, and then we've got this decorative text with a lion and what's it called? Shield, heraldry thing. Coat of arms, that's the word or the term. Gosh, that escaped my brain. Okay, I'm liking how this is looking, so let's put these extra bits away. Whoops, so I don't get anything mixed up. Just tuck them away in their container. Right, do I want book page? Maybe music for a change? Possibly. I think rip this in half where it's been folded. Oh gosh, that's a lot tougher than I was anticipating. I thought it would be really easy to tear. So take off that white edge again. I'm pretty sure this particular bit of music paper was sent to me in Happy Mail. Was it from you, Mari? It might have been from you. I don't remember, I'm sorry. That's very, like, repetitive, that bit. Something like that. Do you want it that way round, this way round? A little bit tall, I think, for some reason. Kind of trying to balance things. Maybe that needs to go center. And then this one, let's do a horizontal bit of music. That might be too narrow. Oh no, that's not making me happy. Too blendy. It's very See how similar that is? So maybe I need to actually go for a decorative bit of paper and not the music. So let me uncover my papers here, because I didn't grab any art. I'm thinking dark. What about the green? Just a different green to the scrapbook paper. I'm quite liking that, but let's give it a torn edge. Is that wide enough? Should be. So okay. Oops, a little bit too much there. Oh, still too much. Okay, we need to take this down a bit more. Okay, I'm going with that. I'm going to commit to that before I think about what else I might like there. A certain point I feel like I need to actually get things glued down, because it becomes too much of a messy, movable mishmash, and I can't no longer visualize what things are going to look like. So I don't know if you've noticed, at some point I kind of go, right, time to glue it down, because I can't see the way forward, because it's all just kind of, it's curling, it's keeps moving. I can't tell where I want to place things anymore. Just a peculiarity about myself that I've noticed recently. And I think it's whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you comfortable, in a good way, not a bad way, you know, because sometimes comfort can limit our creativity. But just recognizing that sometimes you have to take a step to progress any further. And that's my point at which I need to stop, glue down, and then I can see whether I want to add anything else or not. Right, just give these a quick little ink around. I might as well do all of them while I'm here. This all helps this one stand out a little bit. So pretty though. I love all the different fonts and the image. It's just really, really cool. I don't know where Michelle finds all these beautiful pieces, but man, she comes up with some beauties. And her kits, all of them, are full of such beauties. Beautiful, wonderful bits of labels and ephemera, and everything's like got so much detail in, which you can celebrate or you can layer. You know, you can layer over bits. Printables, just print them again. Okay, that's going to go there. I think I'm going to go with tacky glue. Don't know why, I just am. Don't want to get glue on the front of it, probably, if I were to think about it. You know, transferred from my glue pages. I'm going to put that there, basically in the middle. And I think I do want to layer it up with more pieces, so it won't be the finish. We might not have time to do tags or to decorate those other bits of ephemera. Seem to be taking my time doing this, and that's fine. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm having fun. So this one again, I'm going to try and put about the middle of the pocket, straight preferably. Okay, this one, do I want to ink around? No, I'm just going to go put it down as is. Back to the glue stick for this. I do quite like symmetry. I like off to the side as well, but there's something about symmetry that does draw my eye. And I love playing with symmetry and, you know, in some of the things I design as well. I've been playing with a new, what's it called? Program on my tablet. I've got an Android tablet and it's called Amaziograph. It's a paid app. Yeah, it's an app. You buy it from like Play Store, so you can't use it free. But it's not expensive. Like it's like, I don't know, it was like $2.50 or something, or $5. I can't remember, but not expensive. And it does basically all the symmetries for you, so multiple symmetries and rotations, and just having so much fun playing with designing things in it and having it automatically rotate or repeat a set a number of times. Enunciate your words properly, my dear. It's awesome, and I love playing with it. Okay, what else do we want? Well, we've got nature notes, or they're two different sizes. Oh, and I'm dropping things. We might go with something like that. Oh, here we go. Hang on. That's the same size. So we could go like nature notes one side, mycology notes the other. It's sticking to my fingers because I've got gluey fingers. Quite like that. Don't know that I want a generic label like that. These mini wee. I think it's highly decorative on highly decorative and upside down as well. Don't think that's quite working. But we could go, I don't want to cover all the text, but again, it's a digital. I can use it somewhere else. Could use something like that. No. What about a smaller version? Maybe. It's a maybe. No. Just hunting through the pot. I don't know if I'm on camera actually with this pottle that I'm hunting through. Numbers. I do like the numbers. The numbers are fun. Very, very useful. Probably noticed I'm using them quite a lot. There's a 75. Go with 76. Perhaps we want to switch them around. 75, then 76. That might make a little more sense. Not that we need to make sense. Now there are buttons. I'd forgotten about the buttons. It's little printable buttons. I like. There's different colours. Oh, you could even double layer the buttons. That's kind of different. I hadn't thought of doing that, and I like that. I do like that. Or we could do that. I'm just thinking, do I want this 75 and 76 to be the same colour? And if I go with this colour, maybe we want, can I find it? That will be the test. 17. Bear with me while I hunt for a wee circle with a number on it. That's the right number. I mean, I'm just being really pedantic here. everything needs to match, and it doesn't. No, it doesn't look like I'm going to quickly find what I'm after. Oh, woe is me. No, they're larger ones. Okay, I think I'm just going to go with that. Otherwise, we're going to be way too long just keeping you. I have no idea how we're doing time-wise. I will check in a moment. I didn't take the time to distress around anything, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. Do I want to mix up the arrangement a little bit? It's kind of the same side though, isn't it? So it's mixed up but not. Okay, let's just do it. Enough fiddling, my dear, enough fiddling. Get it glued on. Oh, I do apologize if you can hear my tummy. It's just doing the weirdest, rudest gurgles. And I'm finding cups of tea are tending to make my system do that. And I don't know why. I don't know why it should be cups of tea as opposed to cups of coffee or other drinks. Although I don't, to be fair, drink a lot of cold drinks, so I haven't really noticed a comparison there. Right, so the buttons. Do I want to go with the buttons? I'm just looking at the white. I'm thinking I might not want the white there. Do I want to punch them? Do I want to put a bit of thread through? That could be fun. Shall we do that? What thread have I got? I've got to move a ton of books to get my thread out. There we go. Do I want like cotton thread? Oh, these containers. Asian takeaway bowl, and the lids are really quite hard to get off. I'm always freaking out that I'm going to cut myself on them. But I didn't, so all is good. Not this time anyway. So we could just go with like cotton thread and poke a little hole. I guess I can do that with the needle. Let's grab out a needle. That one should be fine. Let's do a little bit. Oh, I've got fluffies. Get rid of the fluffies. And how much do I want? Probably don't need a huge amount. Do we want to double it? I think we do. So I might, perhaps should have cut off a bit more, but it's all right. I need to wipe my fingers. I am so sticky and gooey, gummy, dirty, yucky. Let's just take a moment. Oh, we're almost out of time. So definitely won't be doing any more tags or anything. Right. So I'm just going to use the loop to pass it through to secure on the back. Right, I'm going to sew this off camera because we are basically out of time. I'll be right back. So I've put cotton in each of the 3 buttons. On the smaller ones, I went backwards and forwards through the holes 3 times. and I finished it on top just by looping the cotton underneath, kind of in like a single knot, so it won't hold, but by the time it's glued on it's not going to go anywhere. And then on the larger button I did backwards and forwards about 6 or 7 times. So I'm going to pop that one there, and I finished it on the front so that I had the little cotton tails sticking out, so that they just add a bit more interest and texture. I'm just going to glue them on. I've already done the one at the top, glued on. Just something a little different. Just tease out those ends of the cotton there to make them all nice and fuzzy. And there we go. There is the basis of our, I'm going to call it a tag holder, I think. It could hold any ephemera, but I'm going to call it a tag holder. So I need to finish it off by distressing around the edges. I think I'll leave this just as it is, apart from distressing. And then fill it up with tags. And it will go in the journal. I'll show you where it's going to go. So it's going to go in this front angled pocket here, is where it's going to live. So like that, and I think that looks just lovely. I actually like how this text is poking out there. Super fun. Okay guys, I'm sorry I think I've gone a little bit long, but I hope you enjoyed the project and I hope you give it a go. Take care, have a wonderful afternoon or evening, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.